Good morning, everyone. I want to say Happy New Year, but we're kind of 8 days in. How's everyone's New Year started so far?
Morning. Starting out great so far. We're on the right side of the dirt. Everything else is up to us.
Yes. Oh, it's so lovely to hear your voice, Ty. Awesome. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get started, huh? Let's see. All right. Okay, so today is Wednesday, January 8th. Before we get started, if you guys can, let's go ahead and start to grow this group nice and strong and early in the year. If you have a trading buddy, please go ahead and forward over the link to class today. Let them know there's a free trading class going on right now. And every Wednesday, let's see if we get some new trading buddies this year. All right, I think I am all set. Here we go. So I have a couple of things that I'd like to talk to you guys about this year. I have a couple announcements, but let's go ahead and start off the day nice and structured, since our, theme for this week for this month, anyways, is developing a strong trading routine. So you guys, please make sure that you're in a good headspace. We're going to read our mantras. Then we'll deep dive into our news, checking for any high impact data releases or anything like that. We'll read our trading plan, do a top-down analysis of that pair before we hop in the markets. And then, of course, at the end of the day, you guys should be recording your results or the day or anything that happened kind of, within the trading day today in, your trading journal, whether that be a notepad, an actual, as we have here on your mobile device, your laptop, whatever, or if you're actually physically writing those notes, they can be as detailed or not as simple, or as simple as you like them, but definitely need to be recording our results, because that's how we figure out what works for us, what's our edge, what times we need to be in the charts, what times we don't need to be in the charts, what pairs, work best with our strategy and all that great stuff. All right, so let's just hop right on in. Let's see, should have our Bloomberg info here. Okay, so 5 things we need to know. Let's pump this baby on up. I need to see. Okay, so before you hop into the markets, we want to be informed of what's going on today. We know that headline releases, all of that stuff can impact the trading day, and it can impact our pairs. So you never want to go out kind of like, you never want to head into the market blindsided. Kind of like, we might know where we're going. We might go that place every single day, but we still might throw on our GPS just in case there's a crash or we need to do a detour, construction work. So you always need to make sure you're informed in the market, however it is that you do that. Even though we're not trading stocks, we are trading indices. And so these stocks are a part of the different indices, that we are trading. So we got to know what's going on. All righty. So let's see. A growing chorus of fund managers are warning that Treasury market repricing may have further to go, despite the Fed's pivot to interest rate cuts. And options indicate the potential for a spike in 10-year yields to 5% from 4.7%. Okay, and you guys, I know a lot of this kind of goes over our heads at the beginning. We might not be, really big economic and, type of people and understanding all this stuff, but I'm telling you, it's going to make sense the more and more that you read it. As long as you have a general idea of what's going on, trust me, it's going to be very beneficial. All right, stock futures and bonds gain after a sell-off yesterday. Oil climbed above $75 a barrel for the first time in almost 3 months. Oh, wow. And ExxonMobil earnings took a hit last quarter from lower oil prices and narrowing refining margins. Shell stock is falling after reporting lower natural gas volumes and weaker gas trending price profits. Let's see, what else? All right, German factory orders dropped the most in 3 months, and French consumer confidence unexpectedly fell. Further evidence that Europe's biggest economies are struggling to grow. All right, and Tencent repurchased the most shares in almost 2 decades after a sell-off sparked by the tech company's addition to a US blacklist for alleged links to the Chinese military. Okay, so we got our little insight here. A lot of stuff, a lot of us don't trade oil or crude. So a lot of this didn't go, our options, and just we've been hearing about this interest rate kind of cuts and not cuts and all this stuff. So nothing that's really like sticking out at me, but you needed to know that. All right, let's hop on over to our high impact data releases. We're using forexfactory.com. And okay, so ADP, non-farm employment change, came out at 8:15, and then we just had our unemployment claims at 8:30, and then today at 2 p.m. we do have FOMC meetings. All right, and if you want to take a look, I kind of use Econo Day if I want to take a look into what the prior, for instance, this is jobless claims. So if I want to look to see what the prior event, did it outperform? Was it within consensus or did it underperform? Also, this also tells me throughout the year, when's the next upcoming, release. So the next jobless claim is on January 16th. So next week, we'll have that claim coming out. So, just always helpful. New trading tools. Okay, so meetings today at 2 p.m. What have you guys noticed has happened when we have FOMC meetings in the past with your pair? Every pair has a different characteristic. So is it that, when we have those FOMC meetings, your pair doesn't really react at all? Do you notice that it takes a while for that pair to really have a substantial move because it's waiting for the meetings to come out? Has anyone noticed anything going on with FOMC meetings or any like traits that happen with your pair in those meetings? That's what we need to start putting into our journals. How do these different high impact releases affect our pair? Does it have a major move? Does it not affect it at all? Do we stay out of the markets? So I want you guys to start working on notating how these data releases, impact your trading. Also, just you want to see like, okay, 15 minutes before, stop trading 15 minutes after. So start fine tweaking those type of things and start, doing some back testing, especially if you're only trading one pair. That really helps you to be organized, and it really shouldn't be that time consuming. If you go back a couple months, start taking and just be like, this weekend, I'm just going to look at and just take one high impact data release and just do it like that. We don't have to do everything all at once. So we take our in chunks, Okay, let's see. Hey, Maureen. Okay, so we went over that. We have, looks like a very red day so far in the markets. We did have those releases there. Okay, before we hop on the charts, let's see.
One question.
Sure.
So the FOMC news, is that happen at the first of every month, or is it I'm trying to figure out how to go back and do the back testing on that?
Oh, I don't know what dates these are. Let me see. I know, but I can get it for you.
I didn't know if it was consistent. No, I just didn't know if it was like, the first
Oh
week
yeah,
of
they definitely come out at, those times every, the same times every month. And, there's definitely a schedule here. So if you go to Econo, what am I doing? Econo Day, that kind of goes through Let me post this here in the charts, read this link in the chat. So in your Zoom chat, this is a link. So what you do is you just click on the jobless claims or whatever, your FOMC meetings there, and it'll tell you what it was released on. And typically you can go back. Oh God, I have to see how we can go back. It tells us what the past events were as well. I'll get back to you on that because I know that they have like the whole calendar. You can see what happened in 2024, when these were released back then as well. So I'll get that to you. Okay, Ty? Okay. Alrighty. All right. So this month, you guys know we're being very intentional with what's going on. I want us to have a really strong path for this year. So, every day I want us to have new information coming out. So this month, our topic is going to be developing a strong trading routine. And every Monday, I'll send you guys something in the chat. I really want it to be a video. We always have so much written material. So hopefully I would like to switch that up a little bit. So I hope you guys took a look at this routine on how someone took Andrew Huberman's morning routine and did it for 100 days and just how consistent that made his life, what changes he saw. I'll drop some notes from that video because we are getting kind of close and I do want us to go over, our charts. But we did, the importance of our morning routine and what he did in his morning routine, what he did in his afternoon routine. How many people outside of trading have a morning routine? How many people have a night routine? Just something that, it doesn't have to be like at 8 o'clock, I do this, I do that. It could just be something every night before I go to bed. I brush my teeth, put on my facial cream, I pray, I read a book. And I do, something like that. Are any of us that organized in our lives that we have things that we do every morning, every evening, or is that there's routine something we just strictly leave to our 9 to 5s? Oh, Jane does. Okay, good. Ty says not at all. I'm kind of with you sometimes. I have a soft routine. So I kind of have, let me see, in my notes here, just kind of what I need to do every day, like in my personal, day, what I need to do, business-wise and things like that. So I have that. And so I try to like check, off important things every day. But I want you guys to definitely watch this video. How many people have gotten a chance to watch the video that I dropped in the chat on Monday? This link here. I'm going to drop it in our Zoom chat. Oh, Ty, good. Any takeaways or things that you really notated or, from this video?
When I watched the video, I heard about the ice bath or the cold shower from forgot what his name is. His name started with a T or something a long
Tom
time
Wolf?
ago.
Yeah.
And so I tried that before and it was very interesting. So I can't say that it was like something I want to do all the time, but it was something that like does shock your body and kind of wake you up a little more. So I thought it was very interesting. Now I
Yeah.
don't drink coffee, so I couldn't do the coffee one. But yeah, but as far as the other one, I think he's got some good ideas.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Just the whole point is that we need to be, find what works for us and just be consistent within that. Let's see. Maureen just started a routine this January. She says, let's see if you can keep it up. Yeah, the first step is just finding out which works for you. Reggie said not yet, but okay, we have to have a routine. That ice bath thing, I watched a documentary on it too, and just how it actually changes, the hormones and all that, stuff in our body. And like you said, actually gives those serotonin and dopamine. Like it does a lot to our body. And so I did do like a 2-minute, I wouldn't call it an ice bath, but it was a cold shower. But this was like what, in 2023, I always started my day like that for about 3 months. I did cheat because I would do the cold shower and then turn on some hot water afterwards. But I was great. It really did boost me up. They didn't say we couldn't do that. All right, y'all. Okay, so you guys, I want you guys to come up with that this weekend. Kind of just sit down and just come up with a routine that you do in the morning, even if it's just 5 little steps in a routine that you have in the evening. This is going to help you to next week. We're going to be going into more so our trading routine. So if you're not organized in your life, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be organized in trading, because trading, it really involves you to be super organized, super, we have to be super people on the charts. Trading is not easy. It's very challenging. If it was easy, everyone would do it, but it is doable. It is possible. It requires a lot of skill, a lot of education, a lot of practice, but you're here. We're all here. We're doing it together. So, okay, last thing I want to tell you guys is there is this really cool trading psychology class tonight at 7. Let me drop the link. It's free so that you guys can join the webinar. It's just kind of going over, she did a class. I watched a class with her. She's kind of into personal development, NLP training. So that's like neuro-linguistic programming. So how you can like reprogram your mind and a bunch of other things. And she's also a trader. It was just so nice hearing her with that class. And she told us she has another class coming up. So I thought that I shared that with you guys. So I hope to see y'all today on that live webinar. It's for psychology, just to help us, it says every trader needs an edge to success. It's time to find yours, stop struggling, and unlock your trading success. And in this webinar, I'll show you how finding your edge can help you trade with discipline, stick to your plan, and start generating consistent profits. Yep, so I dropped that in the chat. That should be interesting. Okay, so we will not have time. Well, we might have time to kind of go over gold today. We'll see, but I did want to drop this article for any of our gold traders. It's from Baby Pips. It was just going over gold and a lot of areas of interest, with this chart pattern. So it was really nice to see. We do have an ascending triangle. If you guys checked out your resources for this month, I think that chart pattern was on that PDF as well. So, okay. And so there's a lot of information on gold from a higher standpoint, what we want to look for throughout the year. So gold traders, check that out. Okay. All right, I said my trading affirmations before we came on. I hope you guys did too. Okay, we can say it together. All right, I am becoming more intelligent every day. I am a well-informed trader. I am confident in my ability to make money in the market. I trust my analysis, and every trade is an opportunity for growth and learning. I understand the importance of proper risk management. I am a disciplined trader making calm, rational decisions in the market. I want to say that like 10 times, right? My mind is focused, my decisions are precise, and success is my daily companion. I am so happy and grateful that money comes to me from multiple sources on a consistent basis. Woo-hoo. All right, let's head into the charts. What are we looking at today, you guys? We can go over 2 pairs. We have 35 minutes. I'll push it with 3. Let's pick 2 pairs that we want to go over. We'll do a top-down analysis, and we'll look for some entries into the market as well. Okay, US30, Ty put her bid in. What else, guys? Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Tiffany.
So can I ask a question while we're waiting for them to decide what else we want to look at?
Sure.
On your notes over here on the side that you have here, Is this what you go by for yourself for your own trade and everything? All your notes with the chart markup, the top-down analysis? You
This
don't
is like
deviate from that. This is all what you go off of every day.
yeah, this is like my big note, like big giant like brain dump of trading. Let me see. I do have, let's see, a trading plan up here as well. Like this was a trading plan that I was using before when I was trading with gold on a live account with forget who I was using at that time. So this is like my trading strategy and have that there and like a little trading journal. I think we went over that in one of our boot camps. You guys, we will do another boot camp. I promise. You know, I'm still gonna, you know, get us out of the way. We might do something like a last, because you know, I do want us to transition into futures. So I might do like one last boot camp so that we can all, you know, get forex out of the way, get that under our belt, understand that. Our last boot camp, you know, it was a really small class. It was a different, you know, price, you know, range there, but I did want to just connect with traders. So I did want a smaller class. I will do a boot camp. It will be coming up, you know, within the next couple of weeks just to transition us out of forex. So I've gotten a lot of questions about that. I'm sorry. I just haven't had any time. But yeah,
Boot camp is
Ty,
for
to answer your
futures.
question.
The boot camp is for futures.
I think I'm going to do a boot camp, one last forex boot camp, just to kind of close this out, answer any questions, because I've had a great time in forex. I made a lot of money in forex, but now, you know, as before we move on to something new, I might do a small boot camp just for a week. You know, our last boot camp was like 2 weeks, multiple classes throughout the day. You know, it might not be that intense, but something small just to close out, answer any questions, because futures, you are going to need to know market structure. You're going to have a strategy. All of this stuff is still relevant. You know, you definitely need this information. Just how you enter your trades, how you make your profits is just a little bit different. But the spread is a lot lower. There's a decentralized they're only using one broker. So you don't have someone trading futures and they're seeing this price and you're trading futures with this broker and you're seeing a separate price. It's so much more clear. So, and I don't know if we'll do a boot camp for futures just yet. I'm trying to do a live. I'm working with some people to kind of do some live meetups. We might take that for the live meetup. I will do just like an intro class so that we can kind of switch over to their, you know, do like a hour kind of thing like that. But yeah. Okay, so we have Nas100 and we have US30. Alrighty, cool. All right, we do our chart markup and then our top-down analysis. We kind of already had our chart markup. Let's take a look at US30 first. So this was our previous kind of chart markup. We had our psychological levels here. We had our 4-hour high. What else we really didn't have a low, but we were just using like our support levels, 4-hour support levels. You know, if we would have went on, you know, we had support there as well. But now we see that, you know, we were in a really, really nice uptrend, but now price has broken below 2 major support levels, which can signify what, like a trend reversal. And so with that, so this was our first, it was higher high, lower low, higher high, and then we failed to make a new higher low. We have broken past this area of support. And also price has broken below this 4-hour area of support. So I want to take that off of our chart now. Let's see here. So we're making lower lows. Let's see, what was this huge candle here? We had a lot of engulfing candles. This was on Wednesday, December 24th. This is why I think it's always important for us to like label our charts. You know, you can have a chart that you use just for, you know, your everyday trading, and then we should just have one that's just strictly marked up on like a higher time frames, or we don't, you know, we can just have a bunch of stuff on our charts and it not confuse us. So this was what, December 18th. Let's see, let's check to see what event that was. All right, so December 18th, okay. So we had FOMC economic statements. Alrighty, so that was FOMC on that day. Huge day that day, big engulfing candle. Of course, this is again on the 4-hour, but that was over 13,000, 14,000 points. Oh my gosh. Imagine if you just went into that with a with a one lot and just held that baby. That would have been nice. All right, and then the 20th, we had a huge engulfing candle then as well. Oh, you guys, they're gonna. Okay, I'm recording. I was like, oh no. Let's see. Oh, core PCE was on the 20th. So those were two, you know, if you're trading US30, mark that down. Core PCE and whatever this was on the 19th. Those are major movers, or have been, the last time they played out in the markets. All righty. So right now we see on the 4-hour time frame, we are in a downtrend. So our chart markup says on the 4-hour time frame, we gather at least 3 months of data, mark the high and low. We've already done that. If you incorporate channels or trend lines, these can be drawn on the 4-hour or 1-hour time frames. Boom, done that. Identify major areas of support and resistance on the 1-hour time frame, and use a fib level if needed. So let's look at the 1-hour now. Let's move this out of our way. Those are old. Okay, so the 1-hour, since we've had this 4-hour high, we've just been making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Now let's see here. This has been an area that was support. We broke through, we had a break here. Price came back up. Let's see. Resistance is an area of resistance on the top. Alrighty, so let's look at this. This price point, what was this? 43,400. Let's just say the 43,400 area was support, made a lower high, broke through this area of support, and then price tested this price point a couple different times on the 20th, again on the 24th through the 27th. It was unable to break above that area. So now this is our level of resistance. Seemed like a strong area. Also, that's our R8 on our pivot levels. Okay. What else can we see? We also see that this gray line was our previous 4-hour level of support. That was at 41,790. But we can see that down here too, we've had a lot of wicks towards this area. And price has sellers have been unable, let's get it out, to break below this level. So now we see that this is an area of support on the 1-hour time frame. You can go ahead and notate 1-hour support. Every time price has touched this zone, it's shot up immediately. And as we can see here on the 2nd, it was unable to, you know, even break below and make lower lows in here slightly. Okay, we're making good time. Okay, so already, do we see any fib levels? Does anyone see any fib levels that we could make? Right now, we're kind of just range bound here. We've really just been taking this top, coming down to the bottom, coming back up here to 43,400, shooting back down to 42,200 area. And we've just been playing this game here on the 1 hour time frame. Since when? Since the 18th of December. Now, this is a huge range, you know, no problem. We can definitely catch some moves here, but we'll just want to understand what the market is doing. So are we in a buy trend, sell trend? What's going on? Let's take some notes if we're trading this pair. So right now we're going over US30. Right now, we want to stay on the 4 hour time frame. We are in a sell trend. On the 1 hour time frame, let's just keep it really short. 1 hour time frame, we are consolidating. Okay, that's cool. So we have a high and a low of this range. What type of trades, now that we have this information as far as what's the larger trend, what's the better trades or more high probability trades if we were going off of trends, buys or sells?
Sales.
Sales.
Y'all got it. And y'all are up because I thought some people were sleeping. Miss Kelly, what's up, girl? Let's see you come in. Okay, so perfect. We have our buys. We have, you know, what's going on each time frame. So yes, the sells would be, you know, a better push here, a better probability trade. But with this huge range, you know, those buys have also, well, not really. Well, separate here. This was a good buy up. This was a good buy up. Anywho. Now that we have this information and we've, you know, marked up a little path here, let's go straight to the 15-minute time frame. And find our minor and major levels. So we're mixing it up right now just for time's sake, we just have a couple more minutes here at 9:15. Y'all let me know so we can move. Jane, just knock on my Zoom door just to remind me that it's 9:15 and we need to move over to Nas so I don't get hyper focused on one pair. Okay, so we're kind of mixing up our chart markup with our little top-down analysis here for time's sake, but you guys get it. I'm trying to mix in our psychology, new tools, all this kind of stuff, and our chart markups and finding entries all into 1 hour. So you guys bear with me. All right, now we are on the 15-minute time frame. We're going to find our pivot levels, and we're going to notate them. Yes, they are already notated on our charts here, but what do pivot levels do when we have a break of structure? They shift, right?
Yeah,
So
you can adjust up or down, depending on
exactly.
which way the market is going.
Exactly. Depending on where the market is going, it could shift up or down. Thank you, Miss Charlotte. And so sometimes we don't really see that those shifts can happen so fast. So I like to notate just because, you know, if those pivot level shifts, that just gives me a clear idea. Okay, so for instance, if this was our R8 and price broke above this means, so our pivot levels help us to identify support and resistance. So if our pivot level shifts, you know, when price reaches around this R8, instead of selling like we, you know, expect it to do, that means that price is no longer making lower lows. We're making higher highs. So I would like to see there's going to be a new R8. Our new R8, if this happened, would probably be, you know, around this area where we're seeing a lot of this liquidity up here at the higher time frames, or maybe, you know, around this area here. So that would tell us that now this R8 is now support. So we want to, you know that area as well. So that's why I notate those areas. But this is our intraday range. So ideally, when you get up in the morning, you look at your 15-minute time frame. Well, you do your chart markup, you do your top-down analysis, and you look at your 15-minute time frame. Ideally, we would like to sell when price comes to the R8 and buy when it's at the S0. And the market has done that. And if we would have, so I like, as soon as you come to your computer while you're doing all your, pre-market analysis, looking at your news, doing this, doing that, just go straight to your charts first and put an alert at the R8, put an alert at the S0. So that while you're checking your news, while you're doing this, while you're doing that, you'll be alerted and you're not missing out on anything when price comes to a major area on a good entry or exit point of the market. So if we would have had our R8 kind of alert here, we would have gotten that alert to enter for the sell here at 6:15 a.m. Our TP, your TP varies. So you might just be a person that just needs to get 100 points out of US30, or you might just be someone that holds the trade until the trend. I personally like to hold, if we're at the R8, we're going to hold to maybe the S1 or the S0. For US30, we can take it all the way down to the S0. And then, now at the S0, you want to go with the trend. So if we were at the R8 here at 42,687, and we came down here to the S0, and we're looking for sells, prices making lower lows, sometimes at the S0, price might not come all the way up to the R8. So you might need to adjust. It would be good to, if you're playing like your pivot levels, and that's your strategy. If you're in it, that's why we go over like the overall trends. We know that this asset is in a sell trend. So we're expecting price to do what? Make lower lows and lower highs. So this was our high here. This was our low. Price might come up all the way up here to the R8. And that would still make it a lower high technically. But if you're coming back up and, price is just pulling back up and you're in a sell trend and you're catching this buy, typically I'd only take that TP up to the P4, half of that move, not the whole thing, because we're in a sell trend. So yes, the market could come all the way up to this R8, but if we want to have a safe, probable trade, or again, if you might put your R8 as your TP, but you might have an alert here at your P4 just to move your stop into profit. And why do I say that? Right, 2 more minutes. Why do I say that? Because if we're making a low, we want to make a lower high before, coming down here to make lower lows in this sell trend. So yes, it could go above that area, but as we can see, if we're going just off that hypothesis and, that probability there, what is it doing? When it reached this P4, this was also an area here in the past. And right around here, we're having, some trouble with buyers taking over. What do we do? What do our wicks tell us? We tell us that buyers tried to take over, push price all the way up to 42,600, came back down. Buyers again tried to do that, came back down, and you're just struggling just a little bit. They're kind of making their way back up there, but not all the time does price range, go from the R8 to the S0, then the S0 to the R8, because then that would just be like a range. So, that P4, that's a good TP when doing a counter trend trade. All right. Okay, so we have our levels here. Now we go down to the 5-minute to kind of just give us our entry. So right now our 15-minute is telling us that, it's kind of a little bit oversold here, still buying a little bit. We see this kind of resistance here at this level, but it is still, giving higher highs, higher lows. Our cross is telling us, from the 15-minute, we're in a sell trend. So just so that we can get more clarity, we're gonna come down to the 5-minute time frame and see what's going on. All right, right now our 5-minute is oversold. We can, but it's still making higher highs. So what are we gonna do in this instance? When we have something like this, where we're having conflicting information and so close, of course, to the New York Open, we're gonna create our zones. We're gonna create our little consolidation box. And now can you guys kind of see on the 5-minute? We'll just kind of just start from maybe around 8, box up maybe the last hour to start, and then see, you know, if you need to adjust your box. So this is our 825, 830 box. So we can just take our highs from here. What did I miss? And then our lows here. So this wick, you know, down here, and this high, and we're basically just waiting for price to break out of this box. Of course, you know, like I said, for this New York Open, and setting up this trade something like this, taking this up to the R8, that would be 50 points. If it breaks out of this level, meaning what? Price continues to make higher highs. You see, we do have a cross here. Remember though, higher time frames, we're looking for sells. We're oversold on our RSI. So if price comes down here, then breaks out of this box, it means price is making a lower low. And then we take our trade down here to the S0. We're going to be watching these trades. So if you make this, if you trade this pair, you're looking at the pivot levels to see, because once price does break, what have we seen here? We have a couple different scenarios. So you want to know before you get into the market what might happen. So price could break out of here, touch this R8, then shoot back down to this S0. And then, you know, we've been playing in this range. So we would have to take a look to see what price is doing once it reaches these levels. Do we have more buying momentum? You know, is price going to continue to buy and break out of this? High probability? No, because again, we're selling. So the better probability would be that price is what? Going to break out of this box here and make lower lows and come down to this S0. But because we are at the New York Open, we know that there's so many different orders, so many different stop losses. If you are trading in your demo, remember, I always like everyone to be trading in their demo at least for the first 15 minutes, just so that you can kind of get the rhythm of the market. And you can kind of see now what's going to happen after this. So we could have, you know, orders just coming up here for this New York Open, a lot of stop losses here. So we could have that bounce, and we've seen that before. And then price coming right down back here to our S0, or... And I hate to play it, you know, either or, neither nor, but you guys understand why we're doing this, because the market's going to do what it wants. We just got to make sure that we have a game plan. And if we see these things playing out before, we can be like, oh, okay, we kind of saw that. Or what can price do? Price can shoot down here to this S0 and then come back up here. Or it could make lower lows. We have to see how price is going to react. And, you know, kind of for me anyways, predicting that during the New York Open is really, really hard, because we have all of those orders coming in, and a lot of, to me, it's like a major news event. We don't really have a clear direction, you know, at least not for the first, sometimes if there's good trend there, the first, 5 minutes at least of, you know, the market. So that's why we just have to see what could happen. And, you know, if this happens, what we're going to do, and if that happens, what we're going to do, until, you know, we get that nice 9:45 candle coming out and we can make a clear prediction of the market for an intraday move. If that makes sense.
Your EMA cross, Fatima.
Say that again.
What is your EMA cross?
10 is this blue line here, and the 20 is the orange.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Jane, you didn't tell me. I went 5 minutes over. But if you guys get what we're looking for the New York Open for US30, please drop some threes in the chat so we can move over to Nas. Let's see what's going on. Perfect. All righty. Okay, let's go over to Nasty Nas. Jane. As us looking at
Ask a
Nas.
question.
Yes.
Fatima, can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So on the higher time frames, when we're setting up and we're looking at everything on the higher time frame, we don't enter from the higher time frame because we miss it, which is why we go down to the lower time frame. But when we're looking for it to like break and retest, it's not going to break and retest on the lower time frame, is it? It breaks and retests on the higher time frame, or am I thinking about that wrong?
You can have a break and retest on the lower time frame as well. You can enter on the higher time frames. It just all depends on your strategy and how much you have that you can risk. What's your risk tolerance? If you enter on the 1 hour, if you enter on the 4 hour, so let's just say something like this. If you were entering, right here, once you got this cross, you're going to have to risk, for this buy here, you're going to need to risk from your entry here all the way down here. That's 157 points because that was the low.
I ain't got it in me. I can't do it.
Yeah, so it just all depends on your risk tolerance. So no, you can't enter. You could on the higher time frames, but you're going to need to have a lot more wiggle room on the higher time frames. So coming down to the lower time frames just helps you to get a better entry. So if you're looking for those sells, you can see, price making lower lows on the 5 minute or the 1 minute. You're going to see that before you kind of see it in a 15-minute candlestick. Does that make sense? Because the 15, for instance, if you're looking at the 5 minute, the 15-minute candlestick is going to comprise of 3 5-minute candles. So you're going to see your 5-minute time frame make lower lows before your 15-minute candle opens, and it opens up, a selling candle, for instance.
Okay. So then when you're working up on the higher time frame and then you're looking for consolidation on the lower time frame, like if we're looking at the 4 hour and we're saying, okay, it's in a downtrend. So then we jump down to the 1 hour and it might be going up. Well, it'll probably still be going down in the 1 hour, but we go to the 15-minute and there's the consolidation for one or the other. Then it's still okay to go ahead for the uptrend versus going for the downtrend, because ultimately we know we're going down, but right now we're just going to trade the pullback. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, if you want to trade the pullback, because a lot of times the pullback is preemptive and we want to think that, the market is going to pull back, and sometimes it does. But we have to be very, very cautious. But yeah, in theory, that's exactly how you would play out something like that. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to reframe my mind so that I understand how I'm looking at the time frames, because I'm still kind of foggy. Well, I'm no longer foggy about it. I understand the time frames now. Speak it into existence.
Good. And again, multiple time frame analysis is something that really does, it wasn't something that I clearly could understand how to put all those together. You might be a faster learner. But it did take some time to see, like how you said, okay, we're buying on the 4 hour on a buy trend. Why are we selling, on the 1 hour? How do I get in? Do I get in for a buy or so? So it does take some time for you to kind of wrap around your head what's really going on in the market. But once I kind of saw, just had like that example that I gave you, a 15-minute candle consists of 3 5-minute candles. So you're going to see that turn on the 5-minute candle before you see it on the 15. So yeah, that 15-minute candlestick is buying, but on the lower time frame, you're going to see that little pullback before it continue. You get what I'm saying? On that 15-minute time.
Yeah, I get it. And so, yeah, I've been working really hard to try to wrap my mind around that so I can get it all figured out. So thank you. I'm sorry. Go back to Nas. I'm sorry, y'all Nas people.
This is the whole point of these classes. We're trying to get, to the point where you guys are able to look at the markets, mark up your own charts, get into the markets, make your TP and your stop loss, and you're self-sufficient. So those questions are so helpful. Never apologize. Even though we just do have 5 minutes, that's on me. That's why I like to say one pair, but I was being ambitious. So I'll quickly go through it. We had a 4-hour high here. We had our 4-hour low here. As we can see, since the last time we kind of did our analysis, we've made a new higher high. So we can adjust, those points. I just have my psychological price points on the 4-hour. And, I had some extra things here. We were just locating our 4-hour lows. Now we have a new 4-hour low, which is right here. So I can just left click on that line, press clone, and bring it right up here to our new 4-hour low. And that's how we adjusted our charting steps there. If you want to take it to the top of these these candlestick opening closings here, however, remember, we're just looking for zones. And again, do you guys see how this low is near our psychological price point, which is that 2100 level? Kind of dipped a little bit below, probably pulling liquidity or, from these previous candles here. But those price points have been very helpful. All right, I'm going to zoom down to the 15-minute. Let me get my S0, R8, and I had them color coordinate. I forget who I was talking to, so that you could kind of have that visual. When price comes down here to this S0, I'm looking for buys. When it comes to this R8, I'm looking for sells, and so on and so forth. Unless we have a break. And your pivot levels, and we'll go over how we can kind of spot those pivot level breaks before they happen. Okay, here's our 5-minute. We kind of went to the S0. We're making higher highs here. We have a cross, and now we're seeing that our our RSI for the 5-minute is coming kind of to this oversold region. Meaning that when things are over, but what is it doing? It's buying. So when things are oversold and it's coming up, that's kind of giving me the indication that price might buy back up here to this level. What am I going to do? Let's go ahead and box it on up from about this 830 kind of level here. And let's box it up. Take these highs, take the lows here. If, price breaks out of here, we'll be looking to take price back up to this R8 level, or even we'll see how price reacts to this high, this P5 kind of zone. We might say this might be TP1. And of course, we got a couple seconds, and then if it comes out of this box, we have our sell TP kind of here. And we'll see how price reacts at these zones to see if we can continue to stay in these trades or what. All right, let's go. All right, we have Nas and we have US30 here. We'll look at them both on the 1-minute time frame. Ding, 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 ding. All right, US Open. Let's see what we're gonna do. Let's put what's about right here for TP for that buy if we get a breakout. we're gonna have to use the 5-minute time frame. Okay. Oh, I already have it. Visual, all intervals. Remember we have that FOMC minutes coming out. So sometimes we might have like a muted open. Sometimes we don't get that huge push, but we'll see. We want to see how price reacts when we get out of these ranges here. All right. US30 has broken out for that sell. So we're looking to take price down to 42,475. It's making lower lows here. Let's look at our pivot levels. We see that we have this, our RSI. We see that we have this cross here and it's coming down. We are at the S0. We do have this kind of gap here in this candle. So, eventually we are expecting price to come back up to this level to fill this gap. But as of right now, we're just shooting down. You see how, okay, so this is what Charlotte was kind of speaking about this. How do we see like those pivot level shifts? So if we're at the S0, we're kind of expecting us to be oversold and looking to push back up to buy. However, when we are at the S0 and we see something like this, where we're getting that push down and we're kind of in our overbought region, that's an indication that, price is still selling. We're not getting that push up right now. We might have a pivot level shift, which you guys saw that? Real time pivot level shift because, it broke below that area. We have this, price kind of pushing down to that level. We were oversold. All right, we're coming near our TP on US30. We will see now once price gets up to here, gets down here to our TP. Do we get another pivot level shift, or is this when we can buy back up to this 42,568 range? Because, we got that push, that break. Remember, Ty, you were saying about retest. We have to just see it's not ready yet. Still selling, but I want to see if we're going to get that retest. Is price going to come back over here? Retest, come back, to fill up this gap here that we had, this really it's called fair value gap candles there. Come back into this area and then continue to sell for that sell trend. So this alone, this move is about 66 points there. We are now looking, we're going to see how the market responds to this level. This is when you can go maybe to the 5-minute time frame, see what's happening there. Our 5-minute time frame is near the S0 as well. This area, this orange line is also our S0 on our 15-minute. So 15-minute, 5-minute, this is all basically an area of support. So the more time frames that have these areas of support, the stronger, that have the same pivot levels at the same price point, they're stronger, stronger areas. So prices, even though we're seeing that it wants to sell, we have this kind of push down. This RSI, pushing down, is catching its time to break below there. All right. Okay, so it's looking like we're going to pull back right here before we continue to sell. Like we're going to pull back. So I would want to see price break above these candles here. Break above these candles to pull back into to pull back into this area. So we had a sell. We can have that buy. We'll see how price reacts to this level and see if our 5-minute is ready to continue to sell. Okay, let's look at Nas. Nas. Let's just see. Still pushing lower here. But because it's oversold and we kind of have some buying momentum up, I wouldn't get into a sell. Of course, I wouldn't be in any like long-term trades just about now, but sometimes 5 minutes into the open, especially when we don't have all that major movement, if I traded US30, once I get this kind of break above here, I would be in a trade like that. Right now, you know, we have this RSI kind of pushing up. Of course, it's on the 1 minute just because this is the New York Open and we are trying to look at those price points and small movements there. So that's our trade kind of set up for US30. We're looking for a bounce back up here and then waiting for the market then to set up for a continuation of that sell. So we already had one move, we're having another move, and we're anticipating a third move just with that pair alone. Okay, now let's look at Nas really quickly here. Then I'll let you guys go. I know I've had you guys for an hour. I want your brains to explode. Okay, so Nas has still just been playing this kind of range here, just playing this range. Maybe you were able to, you know, Nas traders, you guys are really fearless. So you could have, you know, seen this rejection. Again, this is on the 1 minute time frame. Oh, this just makes me so scared. Time frame. You could have seen that kind of rejection here near this S0 and taken, you know, this buy here. What time was that? At 9:35, you know, back up here. But oh my gosh, it was just a sell down. Then the next minute, let's just look at this. Jane, how do you do it? We had a 20 move down. Then we had another 20 move, the next 30 move up the next minute at 9:31. Then at 9:32. Oh, what am I doing? We had a huge move, 37 move, you know. So if you could capture all these moves, that would be awesome. I just don't like to, I like for the market to give me clear direction. This is just a little too spiky. That would mean like whatever move that you're in, you would just have to have a really, you know, large stop loss, I guess. But of course, if it breaks out of this move, we are taking this down to 21,092, kind of in that zone. That is 60 something pips. We're seeing a pivot level shift here, indicating that price is going to continue on that sell. Okay, so we had, and then US30. It's trying to make its way back up into this level. Again, oh, this was a 28 pip stop loss. If you're playing something like this, you got to give this baby some room. Y'all know I like at least 50 to 60 points, but because this is 63 points, you know, I'm just going to take it. If it, this was the lowest point. We had liquidity down here. We had, you know, the market picking up orders. I'm going to put my stop loss a little bit below that just for, you know, you never want to put your stop loss exactly at the point because spread then kicks you out. So put it a little bit below there. Of course, if the market comes and makes lower lows, I don't want to be looking for this buy. Okay. All right, and Nas is doing that short. And you can keep it really tight here. Some people might even take their stop loss just a little bit above this wick. That's only 30 points. As we've seen, you know, price has been wicky. But now that it's broken out of this level, broken out of that box, that's giving clear market direction. Do you guys, have you guys, well, we haven't really been doing this for too long, but do you guys see how we can kind of box up kind of that area where the market's kind of consolidating or ranging, or however you want to call it, and just wait, just be patient and wait for it to get out of that box so that we weren't caught up in this. Yes, Charlotte. And then, then we can catch our trades to the upside or the downside. And we're really just taking those RTP points from our 15-minute pivot levels, or the support and resistance on our 15-minute time frames, because those are really strong levels. All righty. So we just gotta wait for this to play out. Remember, we have FOMC meetings today at 2. So, the market may be a little, it might not move as we typically see it. So we just want to be patient. We want to be taking good trades. Remember, our jobs as traders is not to make money. It's to take good trades. Then the money comes. We can't do it the opposite way. It does not work out like that. So just look for good trades. Remember, good trades are also trades where we cut our stops, our losses really quick. We want to be wrong fast, and we want to be wrong early. So what do I mean? Like, for instance, in this situation, we put our stop loss right below this wick, because remember, like we were saying, that would mean if the price comes below this level, we're no longer looking for buys. Price is now making lower lows. So we don't want to, risk 100 points. We want to be wrong. If we're going to be wrong, we want to be wrong early, and we want to be wrong cheap. We want to be wrong as soon as it happens. And we want to be wrong at 55 points, not at 100 points. All right, guys? Okay, well, I had a blast. And look, you see, keeping a tight stop loss, those 32 points, that wasn't the move there with with Nas. That's why, like I said, waiting till that 15-minute candle kind of opens on, at 9:45, that kind of gives us a better direction of, where the market's going to go. Okay, let me go ahead and stop this meeting.
Can you explain that 15-minute candle again? I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. What was I saying?
8:45, you were saying, so at, 9:45. You're an hour ahead.
Oh, yeah. I am. Okay, so what I was saying was...
No, I'm Central. I'm sorry. I'm Central time. You're Eastern.
Yes, I'm Eastern.
Okay.
So that would be 8:45 for you then, right? So 9:45. So basically 15 minutes after the New York Open opens. When we get that candle, which we can kind of look for it. Let's just wait for about a minute. I got a minute here. Sometimes that gives us a better indication of market direction. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it on Nas, but we'll just see. And so you see something like this, especially with Nas, you would kind of have to have like a really, you guys see what I'm saying? Yes, it broke out of this level. So we had a break, but then it, came back up here to this magnetic level that it's been, we see buyers are trying to, buy this asset, but it hasn't been able to do that. Sellers just keep taking over. So it keeps wicking up to this area. So we could have been wrong at 32 points where we first had it, let the market do what it does, and just been out of the market and wait for a better entry. Or, or you could risk 80 points and let it. I rather have just as soon as the market didn't do immediately what I wanted, which was just that huge push down to that 21,098 level. I kind of would have just been out of the market and waited for a better time to trade. So we got some pivot level shifts on this 15-minute time frame. Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. Okay, so you guys see what I'm saying? Okay, so this is what I mean by, I'm going to have to delete all this stuff. What I mean by the 15-minute time frame, the 15-minute candle opening. So of course we see for this 930 candle, huge indecision candle. This doji kind of candle just lets you know that there were a lot of sell orders down here. We were able to take the market down to 21,133. Buyers were able to take the market up to 21,228. But look, when we have a candle body that's so thin like that, that just tells us indecision. So this next 15-minute candle that opened, this 9:45 or 8:45 central candle, this opened a selling candle, didn't it? It opened up red or blue in this situation. Yep, it did. Wasn't paying attention. So this candle closed here at this price point, 21,201. And this 15-minute candle opened at 21,200. So this is a selling candle. So that kind of gives me the indication that we're going to start to sell. This was indecisive. We wait for this next candle to give us an indication of what the market might intend to do. And it's doing exactly that. We had a little wick. We had a little push up here to 21,208. Nowhere near this high here. And now we have this candle just really shooting below the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of candles here. Of course, we want to wait till we're going to need, a candle close, because you could just have something like this where you just have that wick there and so on and so forth. But typically after, this 9:45 candle, especially in Nas, definitely helps to, help you with that direction of where the market. So, still looking for sells. The market was still selling there. But, we're looking at the sell TP1, as it continues to push down even further, we'll have this area would be sell TP or TP2 area. So remember when I say TP1 and TP2 or 3 or whatever I have, that's the ultimate destination. But I'll set different areas around like where we have support, where, we might have a little pullback, kind of giving you the decision or choice then to either just completely close your trade or just know that, hey, once we get down to this kind of area, we're going to have a little bit, maybe a little pullback. This is a support level or resistance level, depending on what, buy or sell type of trade we are looking at. Make sense, Charlotte?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Fatima,
again,
I got one more question before you go, please.
hey, Reggie, where you been?
In and out, in and out.
What's
Okay,
up?
like I'm on a US30 and I put my pivotal zones on here. I don't really understand them that much. But are you seeing US30 as almost oversold because it's almost close to the S0?
Yep.
So then that means you'll be looking for in the next few candles, you'll be looking for it to go to the upside.
Yes, we will see, because remember I was looking for a little bit of a pullback. It didn't do that. I can't remember now because we were looking at Nas if it would have wicked us in that trade or not. But let's see, this 15-minute candle kind of came in.
Right, because right now it's respecting the bottom of that 15-minute candle, but it's going back up again.
Yeah. Let's see.
But
still making lower lows. It's still making lower lows.
And EMA still sure it's going down too.
Yeah, so it's still making lower lows. What I like to do is I do like to take those let me see. So we have, okay, so this is okay, so this is a great example of our pivot level shifts. So our support before was right here at 42,473. This was our S0. Price broke below that level, right?
Right.
So it made a lower low. So that means we're still looking for those sells, like how we intended to from the higher time frames. Now we're going to go ahead and move our pivot levels. Remember, sometimes our pivot levels our price doesn't need to exactly touch that level.
Okay.
So we would have been looking for a buy, once it got down here, we have our new levels. But when we have this huge engulfing candle, price kind of likes to come back into this area to fill this huge gap before continuing to sell. So I've anticipated that, a little preemptively on that 5-minute. We can kind of see what's going on here now. But yeah, typically when you get to that 15-minute candle, and I can go over with you a little bit more. You see, we have a pivot level adjustment here, meaning that the market broke some structure. So it broke our lows, giving us a lower low target there. We have a new R8 level. It broke out of this consolidation box. But yes, typically we would be looking for buys, and it did buy. It didn't come exactly down here. But again, that 15-minute candle, how it would have opened. Did it open a green candle? I was looking at Nas.
Open up on a red candle.
Okay, and shot down here. Okay, so the first couple of minutes, this is another thing I wanted to kind of go over with everyone. Okay, so this is where the candle would have opened up here at 9:45. So yes, it did open up. It kind of opened up on the one. If you're looking at the 1 minute, it kind of opened up here buying, but then it sold after. I like to, and this is this is more so with the hourly candle. You kind of wait the first 3 minutes of the hour and the last 3 minutes of an hour kind of is really, really volatile there. Yeah, so it kind of did pull back a little bit. We had that buying momentum, but now as we can see, it's heading now straight. It's this current candle is heading straight to that, back down to this area.
Right.
But yeah, definitely once we get here, we would look for those buys. But again, and I would be really careful, that if you were looking for a buy there, that's what, technically what we're looking for. But we really want to just look for trades that are with the trend so that we're not caught up in that counter trend activity. So right now, we're seeing that this S0 is here. This is also this 15-minute support level. The last 15-minute price just took out that support level, made lower lows. And right now we're nearing this S0. We're seeing that our RSI is overbought. So that kind of tells us that the price still has some selling to go. We're overbought and pushing down. So this kind of, especially there's a couple different things that are telling me that price is still selling. And we can look for another price point, another target, probably on your 1 hour is out of here. Maybe price, let's see, the 30-minute is giving us another level. So we might look at, maybe one of these different pivot levels as our next selling TP. If we break below here, where was that? Where was that? The 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So we're oversold, overbought, and we're still selling. We're still selling. This is kind of telling us we have these huge engulfing candles taking out the price momentum. Our 15-minute candle, even though it kind of pulled back a little bit, that was a huge pullback though, right, Reggie? Because it kind of pulled back. If we were looking for those sells, that was 68 points, but it's still pushing down even lower. That's why, try to catch those counter trend trades all the time because we think it's going to give us a better entry. But when I do have those counter trend trades, remember my stop loss is very, very tight because I just really want to get in with the trend. That's really what we're all waiting for, is to get in with that trend. Those counter trend trades just kind of help us to catch a couple little pips while the market is in retracement. But to answer your question, yes, typically when we get to the S0, we're looking for buys. When we get to the R8, we're looking for sells. I believe in your group, you guys are doing this exact same thing, except it's just on the 1 hour time frame. So you look for your levels on the 15-minute time frame. Because we use our pivots, it's just automatically calculated for us. So, this R8 is looking at this liquidity, coming from right here. And this S0 was taking this liquidity, from the left, to this side.
Okay. Now I see. Okay.
Yeah. You get it now?
Yeah.
Those pivot levels
I
just
see
help.
I see where those levels are coming from now.
Yes, exactly. And so, and so they're just a lot more when you use your pivot levels. Yeah, we could say it's coming down from right here, with our naked eye, but when you use those pivot levels, it just helps to define those areas a lot more clearer. So for instance, right now, we had our S0 right here. We're still selling that the market has some more selling to do. So this, kind of took from this, these candles, the top of these candles. But since we see, it's kind of breaking below that, then we might look to see if the market is going to push it, to the liquidity down here instead.
Okay.
But what we like about, the pivot levels is that when price ends up breaking structure, making lower lows and lower highs, those pivot levels shift first, giving you a kind of clue that we might have a continuation of that trend or, things like that. So pivot levels just give us some more information, taking the data from previous candlesticks. So we're not just solely just relying on our naked eye.
Okay, thank you. That helped out a lot. Now I understand where those levels are coming from, like back to the left. I see that now.
Okay, good. And Reggie, can you just remind me? I'll send you over I think maybe I'll just drop it in the chat just so everyone can have it. It's a PDF on how these pivot levels are used.
Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
You're welcome for this particular indicator. Yep. Okay, guys. Y'all been having some good questions. I don't know who missed, but they're out of luck. All right, guys. Any more questions?
This was a great session, Fatima. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte. I'm so glad to get back in the groove. I'm so glad to get back in the groove. I do want to take a couple more little payouts here on Pivot and forex. Like I said, just so we can just close this whole little thing out and move on to bigger, shinier, and better things. But I still use all of I trade ES, which is, what is that called again? SPX. I use the same exact, I still have to use my trading views, still use the same indicators, the same type of thing, much more success. More success. So I know you guys are going to kill it. Okay, guys, have a great trading day. I have a bunch of information. Y'all are going to have information overload. We getting this group back into the swing of things, getting back interactive. A lot of knowledge going to be, dropped. Hopefully add a couple more sessions. So thanks for hanging with me, everyone. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you guys. Look,
Hey, answer my Telegram message I sent you.
Okay, because I got to talk to you anyways. But you guys have a great trading day. I will speak to you guys again on Wednesday. Happy trading.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Everyone else.